the weirdest things I didn't expect about pregnancy. Look at you! I did it for about like 9-ish minutes. As far as the plans for in here, 3 apples made less than I expected. Scooting, crawling, not really on the brink of losing my absolute marbles. Alright friends, Annie is down for her first nap. She's actually been down for about an hour now, so we don't know how much time we're gonna have. But I've been way too excited about making Annie's first baby food, and Jack and I always knew that we wanted to do sweet potatoes first because we love sweet potatoes and it's on a bunch of like first baby food lists. So Jack, during his grocery shopping, got a couple sweet potatoes, and I'm taking a recipe. Even though it's like so simple, as a first-time mom, I need to like read that it's sweet potato and water, you know, and like how much to put in. And then once we get our sea legs under us, I'll just remember and know how to do this. But we are reading a recipe of like 3 ingredients right now. I'll leave what I am using down below. But she says to do 2 sweet potatoes, 1/4 to 1 cup of liquid for pureeing, and she does a teaspoon of mild curry powder, which is optional. We're gonna do just like plain sweet potato with a liquid before we introduce some spices. And for the liquid, it's water, fresh breast milk formula, or sodium-free chicken stock. The chicken stock would be interesting. I have seen people doing bone broth with vegetables and stuff, but for now we're gonna stick with water because your girl here is a just enougher as far as breast milk supply, so I don't have a ton of extra on hand for stuff like this, but luckily water works just fine. I've got the oven preheating to 400. I know you can steam sweet potatoes, but this actually seems like an easier option. Even though this seems like it's gonna take longer potentially, it does seem a little easier. I just feel like steaming sweet potatoes would be a lot longer of an active process, you know, checking the sweet potatoes. I just can't imagine that it would take very little time to steam through like chunks of sweet potatoes. So with this, I can just leave the sweet potatoes in the oven, and then the active part of things is really quick after, blending with water. If you've steamed sweet potatoes before, like just chunks of sweet potatoes, let me know how long it usually takes. I don't have like a baby specific food like steamer. I'm just working with like a steaming basket to put over like a pot of boiling water. But it's something that I can definitely try. It's just not something I'm willing to try when I just don't know how long she has for her nap right now and I want to make it. We've also lined a baking sheet with tin foil. We're gonna wash and dry these real quick, and we're gonna prick them with a fork, just like we would usually make sweet potatoes, honestly, between Jack and I. To work on my posture. Every time I go to edit like a vlog, I just see myself basically like this all day. I don't know if I've talked about this on the vlog before, but I was telling Jack, one of the weirdest things I didn't expect about like pregnancy and then going from pregnant to like not pregnant is the gradual shift of how you like carry yourself in pregnancy, and how like it feels like your butt kind of goes under you and like you lean back to accommodate the massive belly. And then all of a sudden when you're not pregnant anymore, it's almost like I didn't know how to walk. I felt so awkward like walking in my own body around places because I like didn't know how to like all of a sudden not be like this because I didn't need to be, but like how does someone walk normally anymore? I feel like the same goes for like my posture. I really need to work on that. Just do some fork pricks all around the sweet potato, and I'm gonna do these in the oven for an hour because they're pretty thick. But now I'm inspired to try to do apples. Let me see if she's stirring and we can decide if we're gonna do apples. Jack has reported that she is out still. Oh, her recipe has an apple one. This is fantastic. Steam for 10 to 12 minutes. Let's do it, I'm excited. I'm gonna do 3 apples because I already know that she likes apples. She's been so interested in like trying things, so we've been pretty flexible and like not super uptight about like letting her taste stuff. But whenever we're eating one, we let her have like a little lick and she loves it. She literally woke up like 2 minutes after we just chugged her. Hi, honey muffin. Hi. I missed you. Look what mommy's making. Apples. Can't wait for you to try some, baby. Okay, so I got out our always pan, which comes with a steamer basket, and I filled the water to just about where the steamer basket meets the water, you know? And I think the recipe says bring the water to a boil. Then once it's boiling, we're going to put the basket in there, put the apples in, and keep it boiling, but I'm gonna cover it with a lid. And then it says that it should be like 10 to 12 minutes, but that was with like a bunch of other things, like carrots and stuff. So actually that makes me think that I can do sweet potatoes in like 10 to 12 minutes too, but you live and learn. All right, you guys can't see me very well, but the water is boiling. It's truly just steaming up. This.
She's still coming, bub.
Okay.
He's like, Mom.
And he's learning to scooch in the background.
I'm coming for you. Get that foot under there.
I'm just gonna...
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's like they're really, really mushed.
Give it a big push.
Fantastic. I did it for about like 9-ish minutes.
Oh, look at you scooching.
Somehow getting these in a blender? Question mark?
Oh,
You're doing so good, honey. Take a break and play with some toys, girl. This isn't baby CrossFit over here.
nice.
What?
She got up on both her feet and took the lunge.
3 apples made less than I expected when it's all steamed down. Noting for next time. The recipe says to blend it first and then add water as needed, so let's do that.
You flip out the blend right now.
I'll blend whenever you're ready. Alright, I'm gonna add some water. Let's see what the consistency is. Hey, Banana, do you want to look at it? Tell Mama.
Can I lick, Mom?
Look at that.
Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah.
We cannot lick.
What do you think about that?
That looks good.
Some apple puree in there and our sweet potatoes, and we'll do the same type of vibe with the water and the sweet potatoes once everything is kind of cooled off and chilled out.
Good job, Mom.
I'll put a little picture or a mini video of what it looks like within the little pods that we're putting in the freezer on the screen. And then I forget if I said this in this vlog, but I love the idea of these pod things because once we are comfortable with like combining different flavors, we can do like 1 pod of sweet potato plus 1 pod of apple and like heat those up together to feed her. So we can make kind of different combos of things as we go, as we introduce them. Oh my gosh, this morning was really, oh my god, yeah. I was gonna say this morning I almost lost my mind, and I feel like just this whole day I am on the brink of losing my absolute marbles. Working from home and taking care of Annie throughout the day, and you know, like keeping us all alive with like food, you know, making sure I'm drinking water, etc. The things when you put them on paper might sound like really simple. Like to me, when I say those things, I'm like, that doesn't sound that hard. Like you get your work stuff done when she's napping, or you could get your work stuff done while she's awake. But like when you're actually living it, it's just can be so overwhelming sometimes. And I'm so fortunate that the work that I do can really be done at any time, most of the time. There were just a lot of competing priorities today and things that that we're on a specific timeline. So with a baby that you're not sure how long she's gonna nap, and hence you're not sure how long you're gonna have in the morning, and knowing that when she wakes up, realistically, you can't really bang out any more work stuff, especially since she's like scooting, crawling, dragging herself around now, or a combination of all of the three. Trying to get anything where you have to use like your brain power to like write copy or make sure you're focusing so you're not doing the tasking correctly, like anything like that, it's just not possible while she's awake. And the cleaners for our building were like here this morning, and I saw her stirring on the monitor at some point when the vacuuming was happening, like kind of in the hallway near where her room is. It was just like a combination of just chaos, and I almost absolutely lost my mind. But then I remembered different tools that are in my toolbox that I have developed either on my own or different ones that I've picked up in therapy, and they definitely helped me in a state of just overwhelm this morning. And one was returning to my breath. I don't know if I said this actually on here, but I purchased a Calm subscription on a whim back in January because they were doing like all of those New Year's sales and stuff, and I purchased it during one of my depressive states, being like, I need to do this, I know I need to do this, I know this could help. And then I completely forgot about it, and I didn't return to it until recently. And when I tell you that that one intro little course that I started doing, it was like so nice. It was just 10 minutes. It's an introductory like 30-day type of course, and I'm not putting any pressure on myself to do it like every day for 30 days. It's just something that I can pick up when I find the time or when I prioritize the time to do one of them, and it was so freaking nice. So with that said, it reminded me to use my breath or something similar to kind of ground myself. Some people like to listen to their heartbeat. I love just starting to pay attention to my breath, and so when there's just like so many things going on in your head, just start listening to your breath, focusing on how it feels, focusing on the rhythm of it. It's just enough to like, whew, you've got this. You've got this, you can do this. And in therapy this week, we talked a lot about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system and how it relates to the brain and the rest of the body. And that unlocked a whole different like memory for me because I studied behavioral neuroscience in school. So like hearing those terms, I was like, oh my gosh, Mac, like why or how did you forget about how important those things are or how integral they are to how you feel? And so as a tool in my toolbox, when I start feeling overwhelmed, which typically does lead to just a very sad, depressed mood. Like my thoughts just start spiraling about my life in general, which sounds very dramatic, and it is, but it's so sad. She gave me another tool, and it's to do something physical. So when I can't get myself out of this rut or these like spiraling anxious thoughts or just these overwhelming moments, and I can't pull myself out of it mentally, she told me that I should try to do something physical, whether it's literally shaking out the overwhelm, like picturing the overwhelming thoughts and like physically shaking them out of my body. Or I've been trying to do little workouts during her second wake window when we're kind of in the living room after lunchtime, and that's been really fun. So doing that. But then today she was feeling really sad, really fussy, and so we turned on Taylor Swift The Eras Tour on the TV and we danced to it, and honestly that helped me so much. Today, like I said, I'm just feeling like on that brink, but these different tools have definitely helped me. I also got to talk to her about my attachment to like my to-do list and how overwhelmed I get if I don't like finish my to-do list regardless of like the priority of it all. And we talked about maybe adding like a me section to the to-do list, because when I look at it, it has to do with like everyone else in a sense. And some of the sections I like to do, you know, like social media is a section that is something that I like to do. I like to edit things, I like to post pictures, capture moments, etc. But when it comes down to it, like showering, you know, meditating, going to get a haircut. Haven't gotten a hair, like I don't remember the last time I got a haircut. I still need to do that. Things that are just for me, like simply just for me and making myself happy. I don't have anything on there. Like I don't prioritize any of that stuff. And that conversation kind of made me realize it. So she was saying like once all of those priorities are done, the true priorities, when I look at it, like we were talking about, you and I, like on one of the previous vlogs, when those things are out of the way, if it's a tough day, like thinking about a me list or actually physically writing it down and then doing one of those things first before you go on to the non-priority items that still might be on the list. So in this moment when she is trying to go down for her second nap, I haven't heard her cry out yet. She's just kind of like vibing in her crib right now. But I was thinking about doing maybe a meditation or something like that. But honestly, for me right now, the apartment feels like a disaster and it's just clouding my brain way too much, and I would actually feel better if I did a little bit of a tidy. Like that would make me feel a lot better, I think. So why don't you do that, you and I, while we sip on our coffees. Is feeling so much better. My mind is feeling clearer. I feel like there were just so many big boxes that we weren't ready to open quite yet because we were still like finding the space for it. But I'm really glad we got that taken care of. It's clear, it's clean. That just needs to go back there. I shut that because Hippo was literally meowing going up and down the hallway and he was having trouble going to sleep. I don't know if those two were coordinated, but you. Yes, I'm speaking about you. I know that this thing can fold somehow, and I just didn't feel like really doing that right now. But that would be really helpful because I could fold that and just like put that back there, and that would clear out so much. And then a quick update as far as the plans for in here. There are just so many big baby things going on right here, slash non-baby things that we could find another place for and we don't use. So we didn't use this as much as I'd hoped that we used it, but we still did use it occasionally to the point where it did make sense to keep it here. As she got a little older, Jack would take her out here and have her just vibe in the swing, and she would just like be really happy in it in the mornings while he made coffee, oatmeal, etc. But now he puts her in the high chair and they vibe together in the kitchen. And so I think it's time that we can put this away in storage. And then speaking of storage, this chair, we use it because it's here, if that makes sense. But if we're like hanging in the office or need like a place to sit, we can always use that, this, or that. So we won't lose necessarily anything by putting that into storage. And it's such a nice chair that when we get a house one day, it'd be nice to still have it, but we just don't have the space for it right now. And then with that and that in storage, imagine just like so much space already free. This, we're thinking this bookshelf right here, we're thinking of putting that into the hallway back there. We have to see how much space it actually takes up in the hallway. We've never tried putting anything like in the hallway permanently before, but we do think it could work. And then really, if you can imagine it, all three of these things not being here would create a ton of space. I've always pictured the high chair going more so over here in this corner to be like part of the kitchen almost, you know? But with the rest of the space, the point of all of that is this little playpen thingamabobber. I haven't put it together yet, but the reviews, I think there's like 10 5-star reviews, like total. There's 10 reviews total. All of them are 5 stars. I got it on Target. And after taking that out, I can tell you it is very hefty. It is very durable and it's pure wood. So I'm really happy with the quality of it so far. They said no assembly required. However, there were like screws and stuff in there, but it's so versatile that you can use it for like a really long gate across a really long doorway. And also you can like put it against the wall permanently, like screw it into the wall. Like there's a bunch of things you can do with it. We are just looking to make a playpen out of it. So with all of this extra space, once we clear out this stuff or move it around, because Annie Banani is officially like moving around, literally scooting, crawling, not really dragging herself like I was saying before. She seems to be getting less frustrated, at least a little less often when she's playing, because she can work on and work towards reaching the toys that she wants to reach. So having a little playpen, one, to like keep her contained in like one area would be really nice. And also if she could hang out in here with us and we can like be at our desk and get some stuff done while she's happily playing independently, that would be a game changer. That would be really cool. I just looked up a YouTube video on how to hold this thing. I was like, you know what, while you have the momentum, just like figure it out. It can't be that hard, and it's not. It's so easy. If you're gonna get a jumper, oh my gosh, this foldable feature, I can't even tell, like, it sounds so like minimal, like it sounds like not a big deal at all. It's just become this permanent massive thing in our like vision, walkway, our like viewpoint from literally everywhere in the apartment. It's just there. So to have it be able to like just like go back there casually is so freaking nice. Jack just walked in here and was like, it feels so nice in here, and I'm like, I know. When I was looking around and we were like thinking about that rearranging and stuff like that the other day, I had the thought that like everyone says it's like, oh my gosh, baby stuff takes up so much space. Like literally all of a sudden you're just looking around your apartment and you're like, oh my gosh, like she is taken over. But two things. One, when it's not like so just messy and feels more chaotic, I love the fact that our apartment is full of this stuff. Like what a freaking blessing it is that we have like a jumper out or a swing that we have to put away in storage. Like I'm so grateful for it. Jack always says looking from the kitchen down to the living room, like that is his favorite view of the apartment, because there's the swing, the high chair, the jumper, like all in there, and sometimes the bouncer, and sometimes her play mat with toys like all over it. It's just, I can't believe this is our life. This is insane. We think that like every single day. And also, second thought, this tiny human has so many different needs than us adults. And so for me to expect like her stuff to not take up space around the apartment is almost a little silly in a way. Or I guess not to expect it, but like to fight the fact that her stuff is gonna like take up space is silly, because she's a tiny little human. So one, she deserves to take up space in this apartment too. But two, she has so many different needs than us. Like, she can't walk yet, so putting her places requires things to like safely put her places. Two, her form of entertainment is completely different than us. Like, we have our phones, our games, like our TV, our movies, like all of that stuff. But her form of entertainment is not our form of entertainment. And so that stuff takes up space, obviously. And also, when I look around this apartment, look at all of our stuff that caters to us. Like the couch, the table that we eat at that she doesn't eat at yet, our desks in the office space, our whole bedroom, like our whole bed is a bed that she doesn't sleep in. All of the decor, like she doesn't care about that stuff, that's for us. So instead of fighting the fact that, yeah, like baby's things are gonna like take up space in your house or in your apartment, it just is what it is, and it totally makes sense. We just feel super lucky that her stuff is everywhere.